Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another hip hop album review. This is part 148. The album that I'll be reviewing today is Tupac's second album, Strictly for My Niggas, released in 1993. You guys by now should know who he is. He's an MC from. He's originally from New York. Then he moved to Baltimore. Then, he moved out to the West Coast, Oakland, California, and all that good stuff. So, he used to be the roadie for Digital Underground and all that stuff, and and then the rest is history. All right, so I did a review on his first album, Tupacalypse Now, and before I start, I forgot to mention to you guys that that I posted a mixtape on the description box of that video of and it's called Tales of a '90s Nigga. And what that entails is songs that were left off the first album, songs that that I guess because the sample clearances didn't make the album, or demos and stuff like that didn't make the album. So definitely check that out. It's called Tales of a '90s Nigga by Tupac. DJ Moonchild, shout out to DJ Moonchild. He's the one that put that mixtape together, and it's like good quality. It's like not quite CD quality, but almost there, but isn't good quality. And I highly recommend checking that out. Alright, so right after Tupacalypse Now, he was working on the movie Juice, which came out back in 1992. And around that time, he's no stranger to like controversy when it comes to law enforcement, because he got arrested for jaywalking, and the cops beat the shit out of him, and then he ended up suing the cops and stuff like that, and the charges were dismissed and stuff like that. I think like he won that case and stuff like that. And in 1992, he was performing outside I guess he was outside of a music festival, and he got into a confrontation, and I guess a gun was pulled out. I think Tupac pulled out the gun, or his mans pulled out the gun or whatever, and I guess his mans pulled out took the gun away from Pac, but the gun ended up shooting. He accidentally shot the gun, and that bullet ended up hitting a little boy in his head, and his name was Quade Walker. And there was a whole controversy towards that, because the mom was Quade's mom was trying to sue Tupac, even though Tupac didn't shoot the gun, but it was registered to his name. So it was a whole bunch of shit going on with that. So, and all within the midst of that, he was working on an album called Troublesome 21, but he ended up scrapping that album. And so because of that, he ended up working on new tracks, and then the material ended up becoming this album right here, Strictly for My Niggas. Alright, so this is what the album looks like. You see Tupac right here. You see some dope look like some dope computer graphic designs. Kind of remind me of the old school Mac from the early '90s, you guys know what I'm talking about, the old school Mac computers from back in the early '90s and stuff like that. It kind of remind me of that, those graphics and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Strictly for My Niggas. The niggas in acronym stands for Never Ignorant, Getting Goals Accomplished, and excuse me, and the Z is the plurals for that, so that's why he put the Z at the end. Alright, so this is what the album looks like. Open it up. This is what the actual CD looks like. Alright, see Tupac right here with the dope, just looking at something. I don't know what he's looking at, but pretty dope graphics, you know what I mean? You see Tupac and his man, two of his mans right here, you know what I mean? Open it up. Picture of Tupac, stuff like that. This album has 4 singles. The singles are Howl If You Hear Me, Keep Your Head Up, I Get Around, and Papa Song. Those are the 4 singles of the album, alright? The producers on the album are Stretch of Life Squad fame, the Underground Railroad. I've mentioned them before in the Tupacalypse Now album review. I believe they're a group of producers. It's Big D, The Impossible, Stretch himself, Digital Underground, Shock G, Money B, and all those cats. So it's all of them together, which makes up the Underground, and a whole bunch of other cats in the group. I can't remember their name at the top of my head, Big D the Impossible, Bobcat. You guys, I've mentioned Bobcat before. He's done a couple of stuff for N.I.G.G.A.Z. He's worked for. I believe, I remember he working on his second album, the Bigger and Deffer album. He did some stuff for him in the 14 Shots to the Dome album, and I think he worked on with him with the Walk with a Panda. I don't remember. But Bobcat, yeah, he's a dope producer from the West Coast. Live Squad, Special Ed, and Action, or DJ Action. That's the same rapper, Special Ed. He actually made beats at one point. Truman Jefferson, DJ Darrow, this cat named Laylaw, D-Flow, the D-Flow Production Squad, and Big D. Yeah, those are pretty much the producers of the album. All right, it's 16 tracks. Oh, and also I gotta mention the features. The features on the album are Ice Cube, Ice T, Deadly Threat, Live Squad, Digital Underground, this cat named Wicked of WATM. Excuse me. Tretch of Naughty by Nature fame, Apache of Flavor Unit, rest in peace. Apache, he passed away, I believe I would say 2010. I think he died. And Live Squad. Those are the excuse me. Those are the members, like the features on the album. All right. You guys know how I get down. I'm gonna go through some of the tracks. All right. All right. Track 1. How If You Hear Me. That's the first thing off the album. One of my favorite Tupac songs, in my opinion. Like, it's just like the way the song starts. You just hear like the clap, like it's just so. It just kind of intensifies the track and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just so dope. It's like to me, it's a dope way to start the album, in my opinion, and it sets the tone of the album, in my opinion. You know, in this song, you know, he talks about police brutality, his frustration with police brutality, his frustration with poverty and stuff like that. And he actually throws shots at Dan Quayle because the reason being because Dan Quayle at the time, he was George Bush's running mate at the time, his vice president and shit like that. You know, during the 1992 election and stuff like that. And there was a situation where this cat in Texas killed a Texas state trooper, but that dude that shot him was in a stolen car. And then, like, when he got caught, the music that he was playing was Tupacalypse Now. And so they trying to say, like, the reason why that cop got killed is because he was listening to Tupacalypse Now. And so he wanted the album to pull out of the shell. So Tupac's like, man, fuck that. You ain't doing that to me. That had nothing to do with that dude. You know what I mean? So, which is bullshit. Which is not the first time you heard that, because, you know, where, you know, heavy metals, rock bands that came out at the time, like, you know, Metallica, Slayer, and stuff like that, kids killing themselves over that shit, which is bullshit. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but it's bullshit. I don't think any, you know, artist gonna tell you to kill yourselves. Like, it's how you perceive the song, and that's up to that person. So at the end of the day, it's all entertainment, but it's how you take about it, and that's what I got for that joint right there. And it's crazy too, because there's actually an original version of How If You Hear Me, but it features Stretch. It's a different beat, and the content was a lot more grimier. It's like, there was a line, I think, where Tupac was saying, like, yo, I'm gonna go up to the cop's house and shoot him in the head while he's sleeping with his wife, and like some crazy shit like that. I was like, yo, that's crazy. If I find it, I'll post that down in the description box so you guys can hear it. It's actually pretty good, but I do like this version better as far as the beat and stuff like that. But it's pretty good. The original version is pretty dope too. Pac's theme, it's a skit. It's a skit, and it has an instrumental in the background. And you just hear Tupac talking in the background, just talking about, this is who I am, you know, that type of shit. I think he was talking with Dan Quayle at the time and some shit like that. So, Pac's theme, that's pretty cool. Like, I really like that beat for that shit right there. Track 3, Point the Finger. Pretty dope beat. I like the dark synth bass line that it has. Pretty dope. Kind of carries the track and stuff like that. And I like the little acoustic guitar sample that is in the background. It's pretty cool. He's pretty much talking about how like it's pretty much the world against him. It's like me against the world. You know what I mean? That type of thing where like, you know, the media is hating on him, law enforcement is hating on him, even some people like the doubters are hating on him, and that's pretty much what he talks about. So if somebody gets shot, they're gonna blame Tupac's music, you know, that kind of thing. Anything that goes bad, you know, they're gonna point the fingers at Tupac, and that's what I got from that. All right, that's Point the Finger. Track 4, Something to Die For, interlude. Really like that song. It's more of a interlude. It's like more of a instrumental, but you're just hearing Tupac in a deep voice. You know, just saying like, you know, people killing each other. That's not something to die for. He mentions Quade Walker, that got killed over some nonsense. You know, that's not something to die for. You know, he actually talks about Latasha Hollins, who got killed, which I'll explain I'll explain later on who she is. But it's pretty like I really like that beat for that shit. It's like really calm, soothing. It just has that 7 p.m. and that 7 p.m. at night, like with the sunset going down and stuff like that. It just has that evening feel to it. It's like really dope, man. I really like that beat, man. I could listen to that joint all day. All right. Track 5, Last Words. That's a posse cut featuring Ice Cube, Ice-T, and Tupac himself. Fucking dope ass beat. They just go in on that joint right there. Like they're really aggressive they really went in on that joint right there. The beat, it kind of reminds me of How Could I Just Kill a Man by Cypress Hill, but you know, but with a twist to it. They sound similar, but quite different. You know what I mean? But they all go in. You know, they just talk about, you know, police brutality, just their hate for cops, you know, things like that. And to me, I think Ice Cube had the best verse. He kind of, to me, he carried that track. He stole the song, in my opinion. I think he was the first one to go, and then it was Ice-T, then Tupac was the last person. But I think Ice Cube stole the show in that song. And that shit, he goes in, and then what people fail to realize about Ice Cube, he has one of the illest flows in hip hop. I don't care what nobody says, especially around that time. He was going in on that joint right there. That's a pretty dope song. That could have been that to me could have been a single, but you know, obviously because of the whole you know, police brutality, because of the whole, you know, the Rodney King thing going on, and Ice-T going on with the cop killer situation and all that shit. There was a lot going on with that, so that's probably why they didn't do that as a single. So, but that could have definitely been a single right there. Track 6, Soldier's Revenge. That was actually pretty good. I really like that joint right there. That's a sequel to the song Soldier's Story that was featured on his first album, Tupacalypse Now. You know, it's talking about police brutality. What I like about that track is that, you know, you have the deep voice Soulja, and you got Tupac in the song. Soulja is like Tupac, but in a deep voice, and Tupac playing as himself, excuse me. And it kind of remind me of like Damien from DMX from his first album, from the first 2 albums, and as well as Great Depression, like Damien's 1, 2, and 3. The Damien series, it kind of remind me of that, and that's what I got from that joint right there. It's actually pretty good, man. That's a really dope beat, man. It's fucking really aggressive right there. Track 7, Peep Game. That's just a gangster track, just him going in, talking his gangster shit. That's what I got from that joint right there. Pretty good. Track 8, Struggling. That's featuring Live Squad, which features Stretch. Rest in peace to Stretch, and Majesty. That's another gangster track right there. They both go in. You know, I love the chemistry between them. Like Tupac and Live Squad, like they have such dope chemistry. Like Stretch's beats fits Tupac so well. Like it really fits him so well, man. Like that real aggressive vibe that his beats give Tupac. It just sounds so good. You know what I mean? Give me 1 second. Let me see how much time I got left. Try to. Alright. Yeah. Yes. Struggling. Right there. Track 9. Guess Who's Back. That's just another braggadocio track. That's pretty cool. Track 10. Representing 93. It's just him paying homage to hip hop. It's just him giving shouts to all the dopest MCs out at the time. You know. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Represent 93, just him paying homage, you know, to hip hop and just giving shouts to all the MCs that was hot at the time and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So pretty dope. Track 11, Keep Your Head Up. That's a pretty dope song. That's the second, I believe that's the second single of the album. What that song is pretty cool because the video is dope, and that song is actually a dedication to Latasha Hawkins. And Latasha Hawkins, for those who don't know who she is, she was the little girl. She was a 15-year-old girl that I believe she was like from Chicago or whatever. She was like visiting family in LA, and you know, she went to the store to buy a bottle of juice, and the store owner, who was Korean, was a South Korean, thought she was stealing the juice, that she wasn't gonna pay for it, and which in fact she was gonna buy it. I'm pretty sure she was. I mean, I don't know the girl, but I'm pretty sure she wasn't gonna steal it, and you know, he wasn't really trying to hear that, so he ended up shooting the little girl, and that's what, from what I understand, her shooting is what caused her killing, was what caused the LA riots, because yeah, the Rodney King thing, it was part of it, but what really sparked the riots was her getting shot and killed. And so it's just him paying pretty much like a dedication to her, and a dedication to black women in general. Like, you know, just respect our black women. They're queens. They're not hoes and bitches and stuff like that. They're our queens. They're our providers. You know, they're the bearer of our ribs. You know, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? And that's what I got from that joint right there. Very dope song. Definitely had like that real summer vibe to it. Like, in fact, I believe that song and I Get Around was the first two songs I've heard from Tupac that introduced me to Tupac around that time. And Dave Hollis is on the hook. He's not credited, but he's on the track right there. So pretty dope right there. Pretty dope, timeless track. A song that you could play, you know, today and it still sound dope today. That's how dope it is. All right. Track 12, Streets or Death Row. It's just him talking about the dangers of the streets, you know, things like that. Track 12, Streaking for My Niggas. It's a dope beat. It's just him just talking about, you know, his hate for cops and hate for the media and stuff like that. And he pretty much goes in on that joint right there. Track 13, The Streets or Death Row. It's just, he's pretty much talking about the dangers of the streets and stuff like that. Pretty dope. Track 14, I Get Around. That's featuring Digital Underground. You know, it's just him talking about, you know, just him having fun. You know, just him smashing as much girls as he can. You know what I mean? Just him living the bachelor life. You know what I mean? It's interesting because with that song, that was actually like the last song they did together that they actually worked with each other. And the reason being is because I was reading an article. I forgot, if I find it, I'll post it down in the description box. I think it was Money B that said it, that they made a song called What's Up With The Love off their album. I think it was like their third or fourth album called Body Hat Syndrome that came out that same year in 1993. And there's a song called What's Up With The Love, and that song was pretty much like an anti-racism song, kind of reminiscent of, you know, Coogee Rap's Erase Racism. So that was their version of that. And, you know, obviously it's an anti-racism song, so they talk about let's what's up with the love, we gotta love each other. But Tupac was on some shit like, man, fuck the white man, because he was on that shit like, fuck the man, fuck the white man, for the cops and all that. And it's just his resentment towards white people because how he's been treated and stuff like that. And N.I.G.Ga.Z and Money B was like, yo, son, like, yo, you can't be talking about that, man. Not on that song, not on this song. And Tupac wasn't really trying to hear that. And so, to make a long story short, he ended up, giving in, and he, changed his lyrics and stuff like that. But with Tupac, I'm pretty sure he had like a big, with his ego, it kind of like, he felt some type of way about that. So, and that's pretty much like the last time they worked with each other is because of that falling out that they had, is why, they stopped messing with each other, which is sad because them music wise, like, this sound is just it sounds so, just like Stretch, their sound sounds so dope with Tupac, you know what I mean? So, which is pretty sad. That's I Get Around. The next, which was the third single, and the last single of the album, Papa Song, it's just him talking about, just him not growing up with a dad and stuff like that. Everybody could relate to that. I mean, I won't say everybody, but I know some people could relate to that. I could relate to that. But in his situation, he's talking about how his dad is like a deadbeat. Like, his dad was never there for him and that kind of stuff. My situation was where, like, my father died. So, that's not his fault that he wasn't around, obviously. And yeah, I had my stepfather, but he was a piece of shit. He wasn't really a father to me. He was more of an asshole, if anything. So I could definitely relate to that song, Papa's song. It just shows about how he grew up with women most of his life and stuff like that. Let me see how much time I got left. Alright, still got some time. And last but not least, and I actually preferred the remix to Papa's song, which I'll post down in the description box. Pretty dope joint right there. Same lyrics and all that, but the beat is a lot better in my opinion. I wish that it was on the album, but it is what it is. I'll post that version in the description box. Excuse me. And the last but not least, the last song, Five Deadly Venoms, is a posse cut featuring Live Squad, Tretch, and Apache. Definitely a dope way to end the album. I mean, they all go in on that joint right there. Fucking dope track right there, man. Alright, my verdict of the album, very dope album. Let me change the track. Sorry about that. My verdict of the album, very dope album, man. I highly recommend this album right here. Very underrated in my opinion, because it's funny because I see a lot of Tupac fans. They always cite, All Eyes on Me or Me Against the World as their best album, or as his best album, whatever. That's like their favorite album. But I rarely hear people talk about this album. You know what I mean? To me, this was his breakout album. It's like what got him noticed in the world. He actually, I feel like he's gotten a lot better with this album as far as like his writing skills, like his songwriting gotten a lot better. The sequencing of the album was a lot better. I noticed this album was a lot more aggressive compared to Tupac Lips Now. The mixing was a lot better. I mean, the beats were a lot more aggressive. This album was a very aggressive album. This is Tupac in his rawest form, man. Like his more aggressive album right here is Sugar for My Niggas. It's like, to me, it's Tupac Lips Now, but times 10. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's a lot more aggressive. This album kind of reminds me of, like, 14 Shots to the Dome, or Mama Said Knock You Out, as far as like the aggressiveness of this album. It's a shame this album doesn't really get the shine that it deserves. Very slept on, and very hard to come by too, because anytime I go to the stores, every once in a while I just like to dabble in, do the Tupac section or whatever, and I rarely find this shit. I really find it, and when I do find it, it's always used, and things like that. So that tells me this album is actually out of print. So But yeah, man, this is very dope. Like I said, if you like early '90s West Coast hip hop, early Tupac, you like the more political Tupac, then this is the album to check out. Um, the difference with Tupacalypse now and this album right here is obviously the production, but is the mixing, like, because with Tupacalypse now, the mixing wasn't really that good. It was really analog, because you can tell, because with certain songs like Trapped, Violent, I think Crooked Ass Nigga, and a couple other songs on that album, you had to turn up the volume. You had to turn up the volume just to hear the song clearly, and that's not good. But with this album, they fixed all of that. This was a lot better. And you guys know how I get down. I'll post on all the goodies down there. And I got some good news. If you guys want to know how Tupac, Troublesome 21 sounded, or how it was, I got you. DJ Moonchild, he has a mixtape called Troublesome. I think it was called Troublesome 21, which is the original Strictly for My Niggas album. Well, he got all the songs, he cleaned them up, and he put it out. I posted that down in the description box. So it's pretty much songs that were left off this album that didn't make the album. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys enjoyed that review. If you guys like early Tupac, like I do, before he was with Death Row, then I highly recommend it. If you like that angry, grimy, angry man black rap, then this is the album to get. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Stay tuned for more reviews. Peace.